Good evening and welcome to Odessa the Dark Crusade Season 2. Tonight we have a scene where we start in the haven of Memnon, neonate of Clan La Sombra. And he is getting at least one visitor, probably two. We'll see. But Sister Madeline is arriving. She's walking up to the house in a normal dark cloak, just covering her face somewhat, and we'll just knock on the door.
You'll be greeted by the familiar face of his ghoul Sophia. You've been expected, so she'll just be polite, saying good evening. She'll escort you inside. You'll find Memnon in that familiar dining room since you've been here before. You see before him there's some notes, some pieces of, well, I guess scroll or paper, whatever passes for that at this time, and a very peculiar looking piece of black stone. He hears his ghoul announce you in, and Memnon might look a little bit, I might say distressed, but he'll just he'll smile though when he sees you and just ask you to a seat.
And she will say good evening in the language that is still heavily accented, but Madeline is beginning to get somewhat versed in. She will say good evening and thanks for having her, and then she will sit down.
See that you're still keeping up the practice in my native language. Thank you, Mr. Madeleine. I am sorry if I have not given you more attention in that matter.
She will say something, and there will probably be a one or more errors in the expression, but you have to practice in order to master it. But it's going to be a little bit off, but she is still learning.
This is true, which is why I've asked you here. Perhaps in your vast body of knowledge, you can help me learn as well. I did send out a invite to another one of our clanmates. I hope we can give her some time, see if she arrives before we start.
May I ask what this regarding? It is the thing you spoke of that acted once these creatures attacked?
Oh, yes. Yes. It is a thing that is by nature paradox. It is a mystery in of itself. So I was hoping, along with your knowledge and gifts, we might be able to make some inroads into discovering its qualities and what it can do.
Madeline will have a look at it. Does it require Miss Lore to do it, or can I roll a cult at difficulty, higher difficulty?
You can roll a cult in your... Well, you don't really need a Bislaw because you have that particular specialty, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Roll standard.
Intelligence. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, and it's regarding that thing that
rock or material or
It's
whatever
not
it
really
is.
a rock. It's more like it's more like stain. It's more like a shard of stained glass, but pitch black. Do you touch it?
That depends. I mean,
Oh, yeah, Memnon. It's right in front of Memnon. He would have, kind of pushed it towards the middle of the table. Look at.
okay. Well, Madeline will touch it. Then.
Okay. It's very cold to the touch. Colder than a canite. Kind of just leeches what little heat there is from your own body. Your hand feels ever so slightly numb when you pull off from it. Your successes. There's a lot of successes. You reckon this is a part of a part of that which makes up the abyss that has been materialized into something solid. This is not entirely unheard of in the sense that there are things in the abyss. The abyss is not, contrary to popular belief, completely empty. In fact, it's quite surprising just how much is inside the abyss. But usually substances like this only occur very deep within the abyss. Not along the fringe or the entrance to the realm or within oubliettes. But deep within the abyss, deep within its center, its core, if it can be said to have one. The abyss is something of an ever-changing landscape. But substances like this are really only where the abyss is known to be strongest.
Quite a deep excursion you were on, I suppose.
I would have truly no frame of reference as it was in my first sojourn into that realm. I suppose I was, as I was told, I was gone for a few days. Didn't quite feel like it, but...
Time seems to move somewhat different. But it is interesting. But it reacted, you said? Reacted to things being near you?
Well, as we grew closer to the altercation we had with those creatures, from the moment I left my haven with it on my person, it seemed still, and the closer we drew to those creatures, I'm believing, it began to, well, not quite literally ring, but I hope you can catch the meaning that I'm trying to convey. It gave off a reaction that it didn't have outside of their presence.
Interesting. Would you expect you said something about harnessing this?
Well, that is my desire. It is quite strong, quite hard, almost like steel.
But heat, fire, and the abyss are... To fashion it, you would use your forge. And, well, matter from the abyss does not respond well to fire or heat.
Of course. And it is trying to understand those tolerances, those limitations. I do not wish to destroy this artifact, although it may take a little bit of destruction in order to understand creation.
Actually, Menmon, because you have been researching it in your off time, would you like to roll me intelligence occult yourself? So effectively
Sure.
garner more information on the shard itself.
Sure.
Because you've had the time to study it, and you've been doing research on it.
Yeah, I did a couple of rolls. It's probably back there in the dice roller, in the miscellaneous. You said intelligence and cult?
And so just intelligence occult, the same role as Madeleine's. Do you have a specialty?
I just have abyss mysticism as my cult.
I mean, that's good. That specialty applies.
One success if it's higher than 7. If the difficulty's lower than 7.
Ooh, it's unfortunate. Only one success. One thing you do understand is that glass is not you understand that every aspect of existence in some way is connected to another. Now, the real world is related in some way to the abyss, or the physical world is related in some way to the abyss. If they weren't, it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to travel between them. One either has to utilize an extant link or establish one themselves. Either way, there has to be a connection. And you understand that in the physical world, of course, glass is forged. It doesn't really occur naturally.
So, in a way, it's like there's a material that's been transformed in a process, like sand to glass in relation to...
Yes. You're unsure whether a process could occur naturally within the abyss. Its rules and its ways of existing are, needless to say, inconsistent. But it would not strike you as unexpected to learn that something or someone may have created the substance themselves. As, again, glass doesn't really occur naturally. It's quite a specific process.
Right.
Of course, this is also the abyss.
Outside the realm of natural.
outside the realm of natural, it's hardly impossible. The abyss is to say it's poorly understood is an understatement. Even by abyss mystics, whom are extremely well studied in the abyss, its various functions and its capacities, its capacity for whatever the Lasombra want, and what else resides there. It's even a lot of a lot of what they study is, and excuse the pun, very much shots in the dark. It is not a particularly well understood subject of study. It never really has been. So it is. It could be possible that this was created naturally within the various processes deal with the abyss, how or within the landscape of the abyss. But if it was, you do not know how this occurred.
Right. I mean, I think Memnon's going to recount exactly how he came across the shard to Madeleine, because that's the only familiarity he has with seeing it appear.
It's been a while. You want to roll me
Sure.
intelligence to remember? You can still recount the details even if you fail, but they will be, there'll be pieces missing from the story just because it's been a very long time. Do you have eidetic memory? Because if not, you don't need to make the roll.
No, I don't have a tactical memory.
Okay. Sad face. But you succeed, so yeah, you can recount the details. It's not entirely precise, but you don't miss out anything important.
Right.
You get pretty much the entirety of the story straight.
Right. So Memnon would let Madeline know that he came across some kind of entity. He describes it as a battle of wills. He felt as though the entity was trying to control him, and there was a struggle, and then it shattered, and then he just picked up a piece of its remains.
And let me find you a picture of the entity. I will PM it to you.
Okay.
That's not it. That is what you saw. You understand that it literally manifested a mirror made of the substance that you possess from the abyss itself, or from nothingness, from somewhere. It emerged from the abyss because the abyss is largely just black fog. Not too dissimilar to a nocturne, but much harder to see through. So it looked as if it emerged from the abyss itself, just because it literally emerged from the blackness.
Right. A CGI which I could not describe.
Yes. Obviously, totally not student level, guys. Fully professional CGI here. Only the best. But yes.
So I'll share the picture with Pete. Memnon will try to describe to Madeleine what the creature looked like. Let me see if I copy this real quick. And he'll say that it spoke in a way, in a sense, like it was a collective, as a we, rather than just an I. But yes. So, Sister Madeleine, have you heard of come across any such beings in your years?
A collective entity. No, I cannot say. I cannot say that I have had much conversation with anything from there.
Madeleine, you can roll me wits occult. Since your knowledge of obtenebration is significantly, your master of obtenebration is significantly greater than Menmon's. So, you can roll me a wits occult, difficulty 8.
Nope.
No, you can't. Something about this rings off to you, particularly the creation of a mirror. You swear you've heard of something like that before, but you can't really recount from where, from whom, or what it was necessarily about.
Madeline will chew on that for a moment or two.
Chris, if I may be allowed to do a thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
Memnon wants to take a look at this crystal with his dark sight on. From the description of dark sight, things that are black and things that are made of shadow tends to radiate like light, right? When
Yeah, basically inverts how you perceive light and darkness. Darkness is light, and light is darkness, basically.
Okay, so I would like to take a cursory glance at this object with the dark side on. I want to see if it like radiates.
Okay.
It's just a dudded object.
You turn on dark sight, and it's it is very, very bright. Very bright. Lights up the whole room.
Oh, okay. Memnon would look at Madeleine with his eyes transformed with the dark side, and he'll say, "See it like this."
And Madeline will turn her eyes black and activate.
You see exactly the same thing.
What breathtaking.
So, let's see. If Memnon can just perform one quick experiment with that. He'd like to set a candle, like to light a candle, and see how the forces play out between each other. He recounts what Zoya told him about it, but with his dark side on, he kind of wants to see it from a different angle.
What this tells you is that this thing is definitely made of a substance of the abyss. It tells you that it almost certainly emerged from the abyss itself when it was summoned in front of you. And that it likely contains part of the abyss's power, but you're aware of this. You're already aware of this.
So, as you can see, Sister Madeleine, the properties of this artifact is quite mysterious. And there are some experiments, I suppose, of a scientific sort that I'd wish to run, but am reminded that there are, well, some laws that the realm of the abyss simply does not adhere to. I could truly make use and be a help for, well, someone that understands that insight like yourself more than I.
I understand. She's still looking at it and just... Well, what do you propose? I am interested.
Well, you have a greater mastery of our clan's art than myself. Could you tell me if any of your gifts are affected or has an effect upon this?
Well, if it is simply part of the abyss or contains a part of it, I do not see how whether it would affect my abilities, but I can certainly try. And Madeline is going to yeah, she's first. Actually, she's just gonna look to him now and just say, I trust that your ghouls are not present.
If they are, he'll wave them away and tell them to go inside there. Go to your rooms.
Go to your room. Go
Don't come out till we're done.
And I will first cast Nocturne, but I will just need the one success, which I have. I could do it much bigger, but it's just going to engulf the table, essentially.
Sorry, what you're going to try and do?
She is casting Nocturne, but she's only going to do it for one success, so it's just going to engulf the table.
Okay.
I'm going to see what effect, if any, it has on the stone.
Okay. There's dark side on what this happens.
Yeah, Memnon will keep his on.
Yeah.
Becomes when you trigger Nocturne, Madeleine, and Menmon, you it's very hard to see, if not impossible, to see the shard inside the Nocturne while you have dark side on, as the Nocturne, of course, is complete blackness, which causes it to glow bright white. When the Nocturne manifests around the shard, not a lot immediately happens. Do you interact with the Nocturne in any way?
Well, I mean, I would say Memnon is standing close by Madeleine as it's happened, so he'd probably be inside the Nocturne, guessing. I guess at the moment of her casting, he just wants to see if there was a reaction, like as the, and this is out of character, as Nocturne pulls from shadows in the area. Was the source of this Nocturne coming from Shard or just from the ambient darkness around them? If I'm understanding Nocturne right.
Yeah, Nocturne. Yeah, it's just a cloud of blackness that well, in V20, the practitioner will be able to see through it, but into Dark Ages, no one can. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it got that was removed in Dark Ages, seemingly. But yes, so you see the colors of bright white, and if you interact, sorry, did any of you touch Nocturne? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Did we touch Nocturne?
Did you touch the Nocturne that is now surrounding the table?
Like I said, I believe Memnon might be inside the Nocturne since.
So he's touching it.
Yeah.
Okay. This nocturne, as it surrounds the shard, is a lot colder than most nocturnes. In fact, to the point where it's potentially quite dangerous to Canites.
Oh wow.
As Canites have no real body warmth to speak of, so they can freeze up very quickly. Over the course of an hour or a few hours. So nothing immediately dangerous, and the blush of life puts these fears to rest.
But it would be like, so it would do frost, like it would be so cold that you would begin to get damage from frost?
You could gain frostbite from this.
Okay.
It's also, the closer you get to the shard, a lot thicker the nocturne is. It has no mechanical effect, but it's somewhat calcified. It's kind of more like moving a bit through water than it's through glass, but only in density, nothing else.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, given the fact that this is carrying part of the abyss, I mean, it would make sense that it intensifies as you get closer.
There's definitely resonance in regards to the nocturne and the shard. The object and the power seem to, for lack of a better term, bounce off of one another in a positive feedback loop.
Let's see. So I guess just for the narrative's sake, Memnon would point out what he's feeling, the extreme temperature, the way the shard is glowing. He'll just point this out to Sister Madeleine if she hasn't noticed it herself. Though I would think she's kind of familiar with how it feels inside her own nocturne.
Yeah, and she's as she's holding it, she will just, put her hands closer to it and just, we'll just. Have a look at it, and then at some point she is going to manifest a single arm of Amaranth.
Okay.
And see what will happen when that will get near it. She will try to take the arm and have it pick up the shard, and I have a single arm. Wow, that's a horrible roll.
Okay. The shard is literally like a shard of black glass. So when it picks it up, the arm is actually the shard's edges cut into the arm of Armand fairly cleanly.
So it can't lift it?
It can. The arm is slightly damaged. It's kind of like picking up a knife by, well, the pointy end.
Okay.
It's like, ow, that cut my skin. What the heck? Who would have thought? It's basically like that. And it should be noted that yes, your tendrils do benefit from your own fortitude rating.
Yeah.
It still cuts into it. A little bit.
Madeline will relay this information.
Memnon kind of just rubs his hands together. He'll turn off his dark sight now. Yes, this is exactly the kind of assistance I was hoping for. There's still a scientific methodology I'd like to apply. Since this is our only piece, I keep its measure and weight and size recorded. There will be a time that well, again, I will try to find methods to destroy it without completely uh, destroying it. But I wish to make this into something until we can discover how to harness more. Why, Sister Madeleine, please try to break it with your own two hands if you can. I assume that you have a great well of strength more than myself.
I can try. Madeline will spend. Well, she actually has almost full blood, so she's just going to spend 2 blood points and put them into strength, and she's going to take it up in her hand and squeeze it. Yeah, she's probably going to cut herself, but oh well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Please roll your fortitude to soak 2 levels of ag as it cuts into you.
Wow, okay.
Didn't expect me to call you out on that one, huh?
Oh! Weep it! Read it and weep, read it and weep.
Okay, it cuts into you, but not enough to injure you. You have a cannot crush it.
Perhaps you should.
It's an extremely hard substance. Maybe if you're stronger.
She just looks at Memnon and just says, might I suggest that you use this as the head of a mace? I do believe it would be quite problematic for people.
Oh, Madeleine, when you grab it, you feel it is very cold. You feel it drain what little heat there is from your body. You temporarily lose a point from your stamina until you let go of it. As it is cutting into you. Normally this would require injury, but I'm playing it out.
She puts it down, just looks at her hand, shakes it a little, looks at the shard.
And both of you look at the shard. How do you look at it? Is it just cursory glances?
Madeline will take some aspects, look at it.
Yeah, Memnon, he turned off his dark side, but I mean, he keeps his eye on it. He's studying it.
Yeah, Menmon, you actually, Menmon, you because you've experienced this, you know once before by staring into at least the hole that this thing once was. Almost broke your will. It didn't. You were stronger, but it was very dangerous. Madeleine, if you intend to examine it with all specs, can you make me a conviction roll, please?
Holy shit, we're doing this.
Choose? What's that?
Okay. All right. Conviction.
Conviction, diff 8.
Difficulty 8. Wow. Okay. I fail. Don't botch, but I fail.
Okay. It's bad when I go silent and start looking things up.
Yeah, that is a really bad thing. Yeah, I know.
We're just gonna play with rocks. What can go wrong?
You're just playing with glass. It's just sharp and pointy. Madeleine, you look into this shard very deeply. Very deeply. And as you stare into it, you feel yourself, your beast, part of yourself, being dislodged. You feel very cold, very distant, and you feel the need to chase whatever truth lies behind the subject.
She will do so.
Okay. As you do so,
I mean,
as you stare more deeply into it, rather, you feel yourself become far more.
I mean, she is going to do it, but at some point, something in her is like she is going to say like I can deal with this, but at some point she's going to think, wait a second, and I don't know if you want me to roll willpower or something for her not to get too lost in it, because
That was what the conviction roll was for.
God fucking damn it.
Um,
Well, at least I didn't botch.
Madeleine becomes wildly entranced with this object. The truth behind it, the darkness that made it.
Yeah, Madeline is just gonna outlive her inner Toreador, really, and she's just gonna sit there like a Toreador, just staring at it.
There is a deep fascination and almost a morbid love for the item, but other than that, you feel nothing else really. You feel very empty.
Yeah, Madeline's not gonna say anything. She's just gonna sit there for the moment.
Menmon, you see Madeline. Make me a perception awareness check.
Perception awareness. Okay. Does my cute sense of sight come into play here, or?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Part of it is vision based.
6, 7, 7. 4.
It's 3 successes. Yes, Menmon, you see the look in Madeleine's eye. The look of morbid fascination, obsession of this item. It reminds you of a couple of things. One, the ever infamous frailty of Clan Toreador, and how they become enraptured by things that fascinate them. However, more importantly and far more dangerously, is that it reminds you of yourself when you entered the Abyss and you encountered this shard in its full form. When it almost overturned every principle that which you lived by.
Oh dear. Okay. Memnon would just put a hand on Madeline's shoulder, trying to rouse her from this fascination. He'll just say calmly, "Sister, are you all right?"
Can I respond to it, or
No, you are just kind of staring deeply into this object. At this point, Madeline, you aren't really viewing the world around you. It's more like you are looking into the abyss. You are seeing and traveling through. You're almost seeing into the abyss through this item. You see.
There is no response.
You see. Oh my god. As you look into the abyss and your eyes turn black with the power of the dark side, you see through this window grinding spirals of blackness that churn with. It can only be described as depressive remnants of something, of maybe things that were brought here, of people, of what once made them, but not skin and bone, the more intangible things, their soul, their auras.
Mm-hmm.
The remnants of the remnant auras of murder weapons and nightmares and horror stories. You see humanoid figures. Clad in very spiny and thick armor, and they wield lances of nebulous shadow. Escorting what appears to be a noble-looking figure. They're almost flat. Their only real discernible features are the yellow eyes, very piercing, that look directly at you. You see writhing masses of limbs, the very things that once tried to destroy you, but in a far purer form, their proper form, not the malformed, wasted potential that you saw at Aldrich's ritual in Riverside. You see all manner of monstrosities, horrors, both familiar and completely alien, but none of it really phases you. You just want to keep looking, keep going deeper.
So, yeah, Madeline's just going to sit there. She's not going to respond. She's not even going to notice you, Memnon. She's just going to sit there and stare.
You see Madeline. She slowly kind of pulls the shirt up to her.
Is her facial expression like Dan Aykroyd's in Ghostbusters too? He's looking at Vigo. I'm not sure if you know the scene I'm talking about.
Not at the top of my head, no.
No.
Is her jaw like dropping as if she can't even keep her like whatever she's staring at? Is it making her unbecoming, or is it just she just looks like she's looking at it?
Oh no, she has a very broad grin on her face.
Broad grin, you say?
Her eyes have gone completely black, even more so than with dark sight.
Oh, okay. All right. Memnon will try to gingerly pull the shard from her fingers. I don't know how hard her grip is on it. If I can interrupt things.
Yeah, both of you make strength plus athletics checks. You may add obviously can add your potence.
Wait, I'm sorry, Chris. Repeat that. That got gnarled up.
Oh, make opposed strength athletics.
Okay. I guess I'll spend 2 blood points to buff my strength.
I have 3 successes.
Oh, Jesus Christ, for FBR.
That's somewhat abysmal. You beat me.
4.
Okay, yes, Menmon, with your superior strength, you manage to tear it out of her hands. You literally need to tear it out. Like, initially when you kind of pull on her, her body doesn't even move, as if it's frozen in place, like she's a statue.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when you leverage the full force of your potence that you rip it from her grasp, lightly cutting her hands.
Oh. Did not mean to do that.
Damage is insignificant. It is superficial.
Can I do anything, or?
This shunts you out of your vision.
Madeline will just go, hey. Look around. Look at Memnon. Look down on the table.
Your dark sight is active. You see the bright glow of the obsidian shard.
Her eyes go normal. That was...
When your eyes go normal, Menmon, you notice her eyes, they shrink back to normal at a much more gradual pace. Like it takes a good 10 to 20 seconds for her eyes to return to normal completely.
Okay. He'll just ask Sister Madeline if she's all right.
I do honestly not know. I saw into the abyss and some of the denizens of the place. But I am... How long was I sitting there?
Chris, how long would you say all that occurred?
Probably over the course of a minute.
Oh,
from Madeline's perspective, you were gone for around 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, Memnon would say, oh, it was but a brief moment. However, I was worried of the look on your face. Did not quite respond when I had brushed your
There's
shoulder.
a reason. Felt significantly longer. And I felt drawn somehow. It's quite the thing you have secured for yourself.
The more I am learning of this thing, truly, the greater responsibility I feel for having it here, but I do not want to think of it as a thing for myself. This could be something as a benefit to our clan, but also it could be, well, evidence of a certain responsibility we have, since we share a great proximity to the abyss.
That we do. If you can. Fashion that into the head of a mace. Or Something to that effect. I believe it would be quite. Oh, the weapon.
That I have no doubt of. All of its capabilities and applications intrigues me. And of course, with your assistance, if we can find a way to get more, I would be more than happy to fashion something for you if I can unlock that secret.
That reminds me. I will not, of course, pressure you too much, but have you begun work on my new armor?
Not at yet, milady. However, you are kept in my thoughts. And your armor will be coming soon, I assure you.
Thank you.
There are, well, some requests that I have kept on the. Oh wait, yeah, that doesn't exist here. Back burners aren't a thing. Yes, there are some requests that I've kept lingering. I'm trying to catch up on.
I will not tell you how to do your job or interfere. I'm really wish to hear. She looks at the stone briefly and just looks away again, and she just says, If you see me do such a thing again, remove the stone as soon as fast as you can. You did good.
Why, thank you.
Quite intriguing. Perhaps, I'm sure that Sarah would be interested.
I'm sorry, did you say Sarah?
Uh, what is her name? What is the Losombra's name? Orsini's childer?
Oh, Zoya.
Yeah.
Zoya. You were sure that Zoya would be quite interested in seeing it. Problem is, she might insist on having it for herself. I do not know.
Actually, she already has. When I had left the abyss with this in hand, I wasn't quite sure what it was. I thought it would be something common to find. So I presented it to her just as a token of proof that I had sojourned through the abyss. She was impressed by the artifact, and I lent it to her to study as there was so much more that had my attention. But she was gracious enough to put it back to me as its rightful founder. She has some notes and observations about it. Perhaps you'd be interested in hearing if she would share it.
It will not be right away, but I would at some point. Sure. It is interesting, though.
Yes, at some point, eventually, I would like to enter the abyss again to see if I can find more of this, or, well, perhaps recreate the process by which I first gained it. I know that this would be a dangerous and harrowing journey. So it would be some time to prepare before then. If you would come with me, I believe we would fare better.
Well, sure. I would. I was about to suggest that you not go alone. This. I saw something just now. Multiple entities. Some of the things we faced and other denizens of that place. Mm. It is a quite dangerous proposition, but rewarding. Clearly.
Yes. I'm interested in knowing what is it that the Abyss wants, what it craves. Some sort of bargain, I believe, can be struck. Or perhaps I'm just well,
Quite. Is there anything else we would look at tonight?
Unless the lady would care to accompany me to my shop to make some very boring, painstaking measurements and rudimentary examinations with proximity to flames and such. Well, that is what I will be doing for the rest of the evening with this shard. Unless, of course, there's something you may need me for.
I do not believe so. But please, send a message if there is something you require my help with. I will leave you to your work. I have other things to see.
Of course, Sister Madeline.
But thank you for including me in this. This has been quite eye-opening, honestly.
Well, thank you very much for your assistance. I have the utmost respect for you, and therefore it is, in light of all your knowledge and expertise, I felt it would be the wise choice to include you on this.
Well, I thank you for thinking of me. She nods, and she will just, do all of the proper, respectful ways of saying farewell. And she will bid her farewell, and she will begin to walk. Well, she will walk a short distance to her home. Chris, we can deal with another thing while we're here. Madeline is going to spend some time looking at the scrolls she confiscated from the nobleman's house. Does this require a roll?
1 second. It definitely requires a roll. Roll me intelligence occult difficulty 8.
I have one success. Roll initiative. No.
Moment. The what you appear to be looking at are very, very, very dark infernal text spun in such a way as to appear holy. The writer appears very delusional upon regarding their meaning of the magics
expected as
involved.
much.
You can't really pinpoint what they are or what they do. You only got one success.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
They appear to be basically mystic texts regarding various divine figures.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. This isn't problematic or dangerous in any way. Yeah, Madeline is going to sit down and she's going to begin to work on that.
Yep. The name of the angel that frequently reappears in this text is rather the two are Harut and Marut.
Harit?
No, Harut and Marut.
H-A-R-O-T?
Harut and Marut.
Okay.
If you know more information on them, you can always roll your intelligence theology in Islam.
I don't have that.
Problematic.
That's too bad. I believe someone is saying. Grimacing. Get.
I'm not grimacing.
Nah.
I'm doing the opposite of grimacing, my friend. But yes, that is what you get upon arriving home and doing your studies for the evening.
And we can either take that outside of scene, but we'll get to that. As of right now, I do believe that this scene will come to a close, unless anyone, maybe Bruce wants to do a thing. I don't know. We can do it also.
I'm good. I just got a follow-up question after seeing with Chris. That's all.
Okay. Well, then at this point, this scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.